Hello, it's time for story reviews with a dash of salt. Okay, so today the story I'm reviewing is The Girl Who Drank the Moon. This is a middle grade fantasy novel that I found through AI. It is a New York Times bestseller, and it is about a girl who drank moonlight, and she became enmagicked as an infant. And there is a witch who lives in the forest, and everyone is afraid of her and thinks that she's evil, and they have to sacrifice babies every year to this witch. But surprise, the witch has no idea what they're sacrificing babies for, and so she continually picks up the babies and then finds a new loving home that won't leave their child in the forest to die. So she's a good witch. And it is a very charming book. I think I would have enjoyed it more had I been the intended age of reader, which is like, I would say 10, 11, 12. Very cute story, very whimsical, very magical. I give it 3 stars. I liked it. I didn't love it, and I thought it could be a lot better than it was. So here's why. My favorite parts were it is incredibly charming. It has beautiful imagery, and it's very ethereal writing, almost to the point that any metaphor or symbolism could actually be literal. And so sometimes it can be a little confusing and ungrounding and intangible. Then the things that I didn't like, I thought that this would have been a very charming story if it were written in third person omniscient, if it had a funny, quirky narrator, something akin to Series of Unfortunate Events, Lemony Snicket. I would have enjoyed the story much more. But instead, it is written sort of in a third person, close perspective, and each chapter switches characters. I usually don't have a problem with this. It's usually great. But this one goes through like 12 different POVs. It's ridiculous. And so therefore you never get attached to any one character. I don't truly care about anyone. And the other thing that she does is she switches the journeys. So you're switching POVs and you're then switching where you are in the story and what journey you're following. So in one chapter, you could be following Luna, the main character, where she falls off a cliff. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's a literal cliffhanger. What happens to this little girl? And then you don't find out until 5 chapters later when you come back to Luna, and then I'm like, "Oh yeah, I don't really care anymore. What happened to her? She fell off a cliff? She looks fine. Okay, move on." So that kind of just disconnects you, brings you out of the story, which is a shame because the POV is funny, sarcastic, snarky, getting each character's personality, especially when she goes into the antagonists. The concepts in this story are incredibly deep. And it's just like the plot doesn't delve into the deepness that the concepts deserve. So the concept of an evil antagonist trying to keep a village under their fingers in sorrow and fear. And so they take the villagers' babies to keep them upset and depressed and easier to control is such an interesting concept that I feel could have been executed stronger. I know that, and again, it's a middle grade fantasy novel. I think it would be really charming as a read aloud for your child, but then reading it as an adult, you're like, I want more. There is more. I'm thinking about how to go deeper with this. It's just not in the plot. The ending, no spoilers, but it was very anticlimactic. You kind of hit a plateau, rode along, and then there was a short resolution. And because she had used like these 12 different character POVs, I knew that they would all converge at one point, and I thought it would be this huge exploding moment. And it just wasn't. They all converged, and I was like, that's it? That's all I get? Okay. And then the way that they save the town and resolve everything in the end which that's not really a spoiler. It's a kid's book. You know there has to be a happy ending. It's so easy. It's like, oh, the idea just presents itself and everyone knew what to do, and it all resolved within a chapter, and that was it. And so, yeah, it didn't feel super earned. It felt rushed. Of course, the ending is very happy. There's a lot of great reflections and morals and lessons learned. Um, so I like all that aspect. Again, this is why it's just a 3 stars. Cute, charming. Would I read it to a child? Probably, but if you are my age or older and you want a super fun, whimsical, magical read, there are better options, such as my favorite book, Howl's Moving Castle, which this is very similar to, and so much so, like, even the chapters, all of Howl's Moving Castle chapters, they begin with "in which," and The Girl Who Drank the Moon does the exact same thing. I know there are other authors before Diana Wynne Jones that did that, but, it's very cute. So there's, like, chapters in which an infant is enmagicked. I liked the authors making up words, um, that you understood the meaning, but they were just silly, nonsensical words. So, a lot of things to like in this book. It just fell a little short. So, that concludes my review on The Girl Who Drank the Moon. If you have read this book, let me know in the comments what you thought about. If you have read it to your children, let me know if they enjoyed it. I checked this book out of the library. I didn't buy it. Will I buy it? I don't know. And then let me know in the comments, what are your other favorite whimsical fairy tale novels in the vein of stuff like Secret Garden, Howl's Moving Castle. I love those books that are kid books, but you read them as an adult and it just takes you to a magical world. So let me know what your favorite reads are for that genre. All right, thanks. Bye.